Hello everyone, and welcome back to the GT Improvement channel. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and if this channel is helping you, please feel free to share this resource with other service members who might also be looking to improve their GT score. I really appreciate your support. Hi, I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. I've been busy doing mom stuff. It is no joke, full-time job. Today's video, we're gonna start talking about work problems. This is one of the last videos I think I'm gonna do. And then the next ones I'm going to work on are practice tests. So hopefully these videos are helping you get to where you need to be in order to get ready for your AFCT or ASVAB or whatever you're using this course for. All right, today we are gonna talk about work problems. Work problems, an example of this would be right here. So let's check out this problem. It says, 2 men needed 5 hours to move a pile of stones. How many hours would 3 men need to do the same job? Okay, this is an example of a work problem. The thing that most people want to do in these situations is they think of a proportion, which is completely reasonable. It sounds exactly like one. You're given 2 groups, in this case, men and hours, and then they change one of the groups and they ask you how the other one changes. It sounds a lot like a proportion. The number one rule that you need to know when dealing with work problems is that there are no proportions allowed. Sorry, I probably just blew your mind a little bit, but no proportions allowed. Here is how you solve these types of problems. And I have to say, these types of problems were my biggest weak point when I first started teaching this class, but I developed kind of a strategy that seems to get me through these types of problems. Now, this strategy only applies in these types of situations where the people are all working at the same pace. I've seen problems where it's like Joe works, for 2 hours and it takes Mark 3 hours to do the same job. They're working at different paces. The situation, the formula that I'm going to give you for these problems, it only works for when people are all working at the same rate. Unfortunately, I don't have a formula for those other types of problems. But the good news is you'll very rarely see these kinds of problems on the AFCT, maybe one, if any. Okay, so let's deal with these problems. The first thing you're going to do is you are going to multiply the number of people times the amount of time it takes those people to do this job. In this case, it says 2 men needed 5 hours to move a pile of stones. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 men and we're gonna times it by the 5 hours. And the reason that we're doing this is because when we multiply those numbers, that's going to give you the total hours involved in doing this job. If you were to have one person do this job, it would take them 10 hours worth of work. So this is for one person. So you're going to multiply the number of people times the amount of time. Now, the next thing that's going to happen, they're either going to change the amount of time that you want to do the job in, or they're going to change the number of people that you have. In this case, they are changing from 2 men to 3 men. So now what we have to deal with is we have 10 hours of work and we are divvying that work amongst 3 people. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the total hours involved for one person to do this job, so 10, and you're going to divide that by the new number of people or the new number of time. Doesn't matter what it is. You're going to divide. So you're dividing 10 hours of work amongst 3 guys. So your answer is going to be 10 divided by 3. Now, if you look at your answer key, all your options pretty much have fractions. So we need our answer in a fraction. So what we're gonna do is take our 10 divided by 3, just throw it into an improper fraction, and then we'll change that into a mixed number. 3 goes into 10 3 times, 1 left over, denominator stays the same. So your answer would be 3 1/3. All right, kind of tricky problems, but I've got 4 more practice problems that we're gonna do here. Let's take a look at number 2. This problem, it says it takes 2 boys 2.5 hours to build a fort. How long would it take 3 boys to build 2 such forts? Okay, so in this problem, not only have they changed the number of boys, they've changed the number of forts. So how we're gonna start this is the same way that we did our other problem. We're gonna take the number of people, so 2 boys, and we're gonna multiply by the amount of time it takes them. So 2 boys times 2.5 hours, that's gonna be a 5-hour job. Now remember, this is only for 1 fort. It says to build a fort, so this is only for 1 fort. The question is, how long would it take 3 boys to build 2 such forts? So we're not just building 1 fort, we're building 2. So if it takes 5 hours to build 1, that means for 2 forts, it's gonna take twice the time. This is now a 10-hour job. Now we are divvying this work amongst 3 people. So same math as the other problem, we're gonna end up doing 10 divided by 3. Now if you look at your answers, all your answers are in hours and minutes, hours and minutes. So 10 divided by 3, we already know that that's 3 1/3. And I mean, you could have gotten 3 and stopped right there because there's only one choice that has 3 in it. But this 20 minutes is the same thing as 1/3 of an hour. Remember, if you look at an hour, that's 60 minutes. If you were to divide your 60 into thirds, each third would represent 20 minutes. So this is the same thing as 3 1/3 of an hour. So your answer would be bravo. Okay, let's look at number 3. If you want to pause your video, try setting it up on your own, go for it. All right, this says 7 secretaries typing 3.5 days, 8 hours per day, were needed to complete a book. If there had been only 4 secretaries available, how many 8-hour days would have been needed? All right, in this problem, they're trying to trick you. This situation right here, this 8 hours per day, that is useless information. Useless. The question is, how many 8-hour days would have been needed? We don't really care about this 8 hours. The question is, how many days would have been needed? So we're gonna apply the same form. We're gonna do the 7 secretaries, and we're gonna multiply that by the 3.5 days. You could use the fraction, I'm just gonna use the decimal. So 7 times 3.5 works out to be 24.5. So for one person to complete this job, it would take them 24.5 days. So that's for one person, or one secretary. Now it says we only have 4 secretaries. So we're gonna take that 24.5 and we are gonna divide that work amongst our 4 secretaries. Now if you look, you've got 2 answers in fractions and 2 whole numbers. So, and they're all different starting numbers. So we could do this any way we want. I'm just gonna set it up in long division. 24 divided by 4, that works out to be 6. So I know it's gotta be Charlie. That's the only answer with a 6 in it. All right, go ahead and try setting up number 4. Okay, this says working 6 days a week, 7 hours a day, it took 15 men to to build a small building. How many 7-hour days would it take if only 9 men were available for work? So again, they're trying to throw you off. This 7-hour situation, we don't care about that. They want to know how many days would it take if only 9 men were available for work. So we're going to take our 6 days times our 15 guys. This is a 90-day job if one person were to complete this work on their own. Okay, but we have a 90-day job, and we are now dividing that work amongst 9 men. So we're going to do 90 divided by 9, which is 10, which is your answer. All right, last one. Try setting up this one. All right, it says 5 men take 4 days to unload 5,000 tons of lumber. How long will it take 8 such men to unload 10,000 tons of lumber? All right, so starting out, we're going to do our 5 men times our 4 days. So this is a 20-day job for one person to move 5,000 tons of lumber. Now they've changed the number of tons from 5,000 to 10,000. So if it takes 20 days to do 5,000 tons, that means it's going to take twice as long to do the 10,000. So it's a 40-day job to move 10,000 tons. So we're going to take our 40 days of work that we need to do, and we are divvying it amongst 8 people. So divided by 8. So your answer is going to be 5 days. All right, again, I hope this video was helpful. You really may not see one of these problems on your test. I hear different things from people, but most people say they don't, but I'd rather you have the information versus not have it at all. But it is definitely going to be on our practice tests coming up. Okay, hope you have a great rest of your day, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if this video is helpful for you. Have a great day.